Welcome back, all of you, to e learning biology class presented by Fatima Convent High School, myself, Dipali. We are going to begin with the biology section with chapter 5, the fundamental unit of life. You all are familiar with the word fundamental. The word fundamental means basic, and unit means one. And life, we all know that we all are living. So, we are going to study about the basic unit of life. Have you ever asked a question to yourself that what is your body made up of, or how various functions of your body occur, or what is the structural and functional unit of your body, or what runs your body? All the questions has an answer in this chapter. The fundamental unit of life is said to be a cell. What is a cell, and how and who discovered this cell is going to be taught in this chapter. Let us first understand how cell was discovered. While examining a slice of cork, scientist Robert Hooke saw that the cork resembled the structure of a honeycomb consisting of many little compartments. What is a cork? Cork is a substance that comes from a bark of a tree. This was in the year 1665 when Robert Hooke made this chance observation through a simple designed microscope. The simple designed microscope which Robert Hooke used was simply as similar as a magnifying glass which we use these days. Robert Hooke called these boxes as cells. The cell is a Latin word for a small room. He used this word in association with a prison cell where the prisoners are kept, a small compartment or a room where the prisoners are kept. This may seem to be a very small and insignificant incident, but it is very important in the history of science. This was very first time that someone had observed that living things appear to consist of separate units. The use of word cell to describe these units is used till this day in biology. Now let us see what Robert Hooke must have observed in his microscope. We are going to prepare a slide of onion peel to see something similar to what Robert Hooke must have observed. In activity 5.1, we are going to see how you prepare an onion peel mount. Let us take a small piece from an onion bulb. With the help of a pair of forceps, we can peel off the skin called epidermis. From the concave side inner layer of the onion. This layer can be put immediately in a watch glass containing water. This will prevent the peel from getting folded or getting dry. What do we do with this peel? Let us take a glass slide, put a drop of water on it and transfer a small piece of peel from the watch glass to the slide. Make sure that the peel is perfectly flat on the slide. A thin camel hair paintbrush might be necessary to help transfer the peel. Now we put a drop of iodine solution on this piece followed by a cover slip. Why we require iodine solution? The cell actually is a colorless unit. So when you try to observe it under the microscope, you won't be able to see anything specifically as it is almost transparent. To observe the various parts of the cell and to observe the cell distinctly, we use iodine solution or various other solutions which are also called as stains. These stains mark the certain areas of the cell prominently and we are able to see them and study them carefully. Now what care must be taken while preparing this slide? Take care to avoid air bubbles while putting the cover slip with the help of a mounting needle. Ask your teacher for help. We have prepared a temporary mount of an onion peel. We can observe this slide under a low power followed by a high power of a compound microscope. What do we observe as we look through the lens? We will observe different compartments which are called as cell, which can be seen in the figure given below. So, these compartments are nothing but cell. Can we draw the structure that we are able to see through the microscope on the observation sheet? Does it look like this? Yes. Now the boundaries of this cell is called as cell wall. And the dot in the center is called as the nucleus. So, did you observe a cell under a microscope? We can try preparing a temporary mount of a peel of onion of different sizes. What do you observe? Do we see similar structures or different structures? Answer to this question is here below in the description. We find from this activity that the onion bulb of different sizes have similar small structures visible under a microscope. The cell of onion peel will all look same regardless of the size of the onion they come from. So, did you understand what did you observe under the microscope? This structure looks similar to each other. Together they form a big structure like an onion bulb. Now, these small structure that we are seeing, the basic building units of the onion bulb, these structures are called as cell. So now can we say that any organism is made up of a cell? Not only onion, but all organisms that we observe around are made up of cells. However, there are also single cells that live on their own. Moving further up to this chapter, let us explore a little bit about the microscope. I hope you are able to see the figure very clearly. Now, this microscope is a compound microscope which you will be seeing in your school laboratories. This magnification of the microscope can be 1500 times of the original size. It can show such large magnification. So, object which is almost not visible by naked eyes can be seen with the help of this microscope. Now, it works on the basis of the principle of refraction of light through convex lens. The object or the specimen is placed on the slide. which we already prepared. The slide is then kept on a stage under the objective piece, which produces a magnified image of the specimen that can be seen here. Here is the slide which we prepared, and this square box is the stage. Light is passed through the specimen with the help of a reflector mirror positioned below the stage. This is the reflector mirror which helps to focus the light. When the slide knob are rotated, a sharp image is obtained. There are two knobs which are observed here, which shows coarse adjustment and fine adjustment. The large upper knob is used for coarse adjustment, which helps in rapid focusing of the specimen, and the lower, smaller knob is used for finer adjustment. Objective lens of high and low power are used to increase or decrease the magnification. So, here is a compound microscope, and this section is the eyepiece through which you can see and observe the specimens and get thorough with the microscopic world. Now let us see what contribution did the other scientists give regarding the cell. The study of cell is called as cytology. And these scientists who studied cell used different kinds of microscope with the advancement of microscope. The first cell, as we already studied, was observed by Robert Hooke in 1665. He observed the cell in a cork slice with the help of a primitive microscope. Leeuwenhoek in 1674, with the improved microscope, discovered the free living cell in the pond water for the first time. It was Robert Brown in 1831 who discovered the nucleus in the cell. Purkinje in 1839 coined the term protoplasm for the fluid substance of the cell. The cell theory of that of plant and animals are composed of cell, and the cell is the basic unit of life were presented by two botanists, Skeldon and Schwann. The cell theory was further expanded by Virchow 1855 by suggesting that all cells arise from pre-existing cell, with the discovery of electron microscope in 1940. It was possible to observe and understand the complex structure of cell and its various organelles. So, this is an account of different scientists who helped in giving various information about the cell. Out of this, the most important theory which was given was the cell theory, which you need to remember to study biology. The cell theory says that all plants and animals are composed of cell, and that the cell is the basic unit of life. Now moving further, let us see how the variation in size, shape and number of cell can form different organisms or variation in organisms due to these characteristics of the cell. The invention of magnifying lens led to the discovery of microscopic world. It is now known that a single cell may constitute a whole organism as amoeba, Chlamydomonas, Peramocium and bacteria. These organisms are called unicellular organisms. Uni means single. As these organisms have only one cell, they are called as unicellular organisms. On the other hand, many cell groups together in a single body and assume different functions in it to form various body parts in multicellular organism. Multi means many, such as fungi, plants and animals. So, can we find some out names of some more unicellular organisms? That would be your homework. So now we know that if a body contains only one cell, we call it as unicellular, and if a cell contains many cells are present in a body, then it is called as multicellular. Every multicellular organism has come from a single cell. How? Cells divide to produce cell of their own kind. All cells thus come from a pre-existing cell. Now let us prepare few more mounts using a leaf peel, tip of a root of onion or other peel of onion of different size. After performing the above activity, let us observe and try to answer the following questions. Do all cells look alike in terms of shape and size? The answer would be a no. Do all cells look alike in structure? Yes. Could we find difference among cells from different parts of a plant body? Yes. What similarity would we find? That we will study further in the chapter. Some organisms can also have cells of different kinds. For example, our human body. You can see various cells of a human body. These are smooth muscle cells, blood cells, nerve cells, fat cells, sperm cells, bone cells and ovum cells. So can you see, our single body has different variety of cells, that is different shape and different size. Why? The size and shape of a cell are related to the specific function they perform. Some cells like amoeba have changing shape because they are unicellular and a single cell has to undergo all the biological processes. So, to adapt to the environment, they need to keep on changing the shape of their body. In case of cell shape, would be more or less fixed and particular for a particular type of cell. For example, nerve cell has a typical shape because its function is to carry nerve impulse and electrical impulses. So according to their function, the cells have different shape and different size. According to number, we classified organisms as unicellular and multicellular. Now let us see what is division of labor. Each living cell has the capacity to perform certain basic functions that are characteristics of all living forms. How does a living cell perform these basic functions? We know that there is a division of labor in multicellular organisms such as human beings. What is division of labor? Very simple. You know that when you have lots of work to be performed, you try to share your work with people around you to let the work go well, coordinated and in an easy way. So our human body does the same thing. This means that different parts of the human body perform different functions. The human body has a heart to pump blood, a stomach to digest food, and so on. Similarly, division of labor is also seen within a single cell in many cases. In fact, each such cell has got certain specific components within it known as cell organelles. Each kind of cell organelles perform a special function, such as making new material in the cell, clearing up the waste material from the cell, and so on. A cell is able to live and perform all its function because of these organelles. These organelles together constitute the basic unit called cell. It is interesting that all cells are found to have the same organelles, no matter what their function is or what organisms are found in. So, we understood from this topic very clearly that the basic unit of our cell, of our body, is a cell, and a cell is made up of various organelles. A cell can have different shape, size, and number according to its function, and each cell has to perform a function through a division of labor. They coordinate with each other through well-organized system and work in accordance with each other to keep our body functioning. Let us sum up here for this topic. Important points to remember for this topic are: who discovered cell? What are the contribution of different scientists in this cytology? What is cell? What is the variation seen in organism due to number, size, and shape of the cell? And what is division of labor? What are unicellular and multicellular organism? We shall end here for this part of the chapter. See you soon in the next video.